we have another title fight made for the vacant UFC light heavyweight title that once Yuri Prochazka did hold and did beat Glover Teixeira to gain. It's been absolutely chaos for the light heavyweight division, so I am going to make an early prediction and breakdown for the light heavyweight title fight on UFC 283 that is going to be headlining that card. Should be a fun one. I think it will end actually pretty early. I don't think it will go. It's not like it's gonna go the distance, but it should be a super fun fight. Glover Teixeira does get very lucky with the outcome of Ankalaev versus Jan Blachowicz, and I think UFC really just wants someone with the title in light heavyweight, honestly, so they can just market them and market their next fight against Yuri Prochazka. But we will be breaking this fight down, so let's get right into this matchup. Just to break down how these guys match up against each other, with their records and things like that, I'll just go into that first. Jamahal Hill, 11-1, 31 years of age, will be 11 years younger than Glover Teixeira, 2 inches taller than Glover Teixeira, obviously at the same weight class. We'll have 3 inches more in reach and an extra inch in leg reach for this matchup. Super intriguing, just based on their fighting styles, and just the age of Glover does make this super intriguing in general, because you can say like a younger Glover maybe does this a little bit easier against Jamahal Hill, but this makes it super interesting, especially with the big age gap here. But their last few fights, Jamahal Hill win against Thiago Santos, a win against Johnny Walker, a win against Jimmy Crute, and a loss against Paul Craig. I think he snapped his arm there. It was pretty brutal. For Glover Teixeira's last fight was a loss to Yuri Prochazka for the title. For his defense of the title, Jan Blachowicz did beat him for the title, beat Thiago Santos, and beat Anthony Smith. For this one, I think it's going to be based on more so Jamahal Hill, striker, and Glover Teixeira is more of a, I guess he is kind of a striker too, but he's more of a grappler, is known for a lot for his jiu-jitsu. In his last fight against Yuri Prochazka was able to scramble quite a bit, was giving some fits to Yuri Prochazka on the feet with his power, things like that, especially for Glover's age, his chin, and his power and his hands and his striking did hold up against Yuri Prochazka, who's probably one of the best strikers in that division. For Jamahal Hill, had a pretty fun fight against Thiago Santos. Thiago Santos didn't have much fun fights before then, especially recently. So he was able to bring that out of him in that fight. Was a little worried about Jamahal Hill's conditioning in that matchup. He did kind of gas pretty quickly. Not pretty quickly, but it was like a round and a half. He was getting very tired, was breathing pretty heavy. I think after the match, he kind of just laid on the octagon floor. He was just super tired. So that is a worry for me. Like you can see in his, even when they announced the fight, like it showed Jamahal Hill in his house and he's calling the UFC, and you can see his belly protruding. With all due respect, of course, but I don't know. I think the conditioning is not going to be necessarily right here. You saw the conditioning in the Thiago Santos fight when he knew he had a 5-round fight, and it still wasn't there. Now, like a month or two away from UFC 283, what it's going to look like there. So I'm assuming Jamahal Hill is just going to try and go out there and finish Glover Teixeira very early. And if that doesn't happen, I think he does lose here. For Glover Teixeira, he's been conditioned for a matchup at least. He was conditioned for the UFC 282 title fight for 5 rounds. And then he is now conditioning for the UFC 283 card for 5 rounds also. So he will be in very good shape. Did recover quite a bit. I think he had, how many months is it? 6 to 8 months from the last fight against Yuri Prochazka, where he did take quite a bit of damage, which I would have been worried about. But I think Glover Teixeira will be able to take down Jamahal Hill here. Thiago Santos did take down Jamahal Hill, even though Jamahal Hill was able to defend quite a bit of him and was able to get back on his feet a couple of times. I just think Glover Teixeira will be able to keep him on the ground and maybe submit him at some point in this fight. But just to break down how I think the fight will go, I think Jamahal Hill will just try and go out there pretty early and just try and swing. I don't think he'll go super fast. Like, it's not going to be like immediately just going to rush Glover Teixeira. I think it's going to be like about a minute into the fight, and then he's just going to start swinging. He does have the reach advantage in this matchup, which will greatly benefit him, especially being the younger guy too. I think he's going to be able to hurt Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira is going to shoot in. He's going to be able to stop it, but I think Glover Teixeira is going to be able to land a couple more shots, avoid some of the bigger shots also, and eventually get the takedown, and then eventually submit Jamahal Hill either in the first or second round. I also think Jamahal Hill will likely gas himself out. Maybe we see a Jamahal Hill very dominant first round, and then in the next round, Glover Teixeira comes out of nowhere, takes him down, and rear naked choke finishes him. But I just do see a finish from Glover Teixeira. I think he's had enough recovery time. I don't think this is a case of Yuri Prochazka, where Yuri Prochazka is very unorthodox and will jump around and has a lot of power, and it's super weird where it might be an issue for Glover Teixeira, and a situation where Yuri Prochazka has seen Glover Teixeira where he can work on his takedown defense and scrambles and things like that. I don't think that's this kind of situation, but we could also see Jamahal Hill absolutely like flatline Glover Teixeira and finish him there. Also, he has a little bit of power in his hands. I won't say it's like crazy power, but he lands really good shots. He lands it right on the money, and just the way he times it with his hands, he puts specific power in his hands, and it does quite a bit of damage. So I can see Jamahal Hill hurting and Glover Teixeira in this matchup. Glover Teixeira getting him down. We'll eventually tire out Jamahal Hill. The longer this fight goes, the worse it is for Jamahal Hill, in all honesty. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Glover Teixeira by submission, either in the first or second round. I think this is going to be a relatively early finishing fight. Again, Jamahal Hill is just going to go out there, be super explosive, tire out Glover Teixeira. If he can't get him down, at least early, I think eventually when Jamahal Hill tires out against like the cage or something like that, I think Glover Teixeira will eventually be able to get him down. But again, there's always that factor of Jamahal Hill catching Glover Teixeira also. But I just see Glover Teixeira even probably landing a couple good shots on Jamahal Hill in this matchup too. So I'm going to go with Glover Teixeira again by a first or second round submission. I just think Jamahal Hill is just going to be super explosive, and he's just going to tire out. But again, even if it does go past 1 or 2, I definitely just see it favoring Glover Teixeira. I just don't trust the conditioning of Jamahal Hill for this one. So I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. Facecam will come back soon. UFC Fight Night picks for, Imavov versus Gastelum this weekend, coming on Sunday. I'll try to get them out on Sunday. Hopefully I can. But I'm excited to see some fights back. If you want to join the Tapology Group, I'll leave a link down below. You can join in, make your picks. It'll record your picks, and then people can see your picks right after the fights happen. For some reason, weird fact of mine, I don't know. I've been recording them quite a bit recently, and I'm just getting like 8 picks correct every single one. So I'm going to try and do way better for 2023. Hopefully we can get a very, very good pick ratio for 2023 and break that little mold. Obviously, you don't want to do worse, but super fun card that we got coming up. Can't wait for it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you.